Well, it was a bit hairy for the first 15 minutes or so, but in the end, Newcastle United were just different gravy. Yes, hello everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV. It's a win for Newcastle on the road. We've beaten Burnley by 4-1 at Turf Moor, and it wasn't as simple as it sounds. As I alluded to there in that quick intro, it was pretty hairy stuff for the first 15 minutes or so. Burnley made a very, very quick start, but just could not find the kind of final touch to put them in the lead, and it was kind of the story of Burnley's afternoon. They don't have a real striker. Have they replaced Chris Wood since we nicked him off them a couple of years back? I don't know. But it's one of them where Burnley would feel that they should have capitalised on their early dominance. We stuck in there, couple of minimal efforts on the counter-attack, but nothing really to speak of until we got the opening goal. And that came from Callum Wilson, who was booked for diving a minute earlier by Anthony Taylor, who was the referee. I'll get it out of the way now because I don't want to take the shine off what was a really positive afternoon, but Anthony Taylor's a shocking referee. After that, he was involved in controversy last week at West Ham Liverpool, wasn't he? He then somehow gets a Champions League semi-final in midweek, and then he's again in the Premier League this weekend. He books Wilson for diving, even though Wilson gets up and plays on. Books Anderson for a gentle arm in the face. Obviously, footballers go down like they've just been shot in the face after just being brushed. Anderson gets booked after kicking the ball away, admittedly. And then there was nothing for a stamp on Lewis Hall. And there was a couple of other decisions that were just baffling, really. But look, that's my kind of whinge over about Anthony Taylor. Just awful officiating once again from him. Look, we took the lead through Callum Wilson. Isak with a shot on goal, saved by Muric in the Burnley goal, and then Wilson's there to tap it in. 2-2 for him. Really positive. Hopefully he can stay fit for those final 3 games now as we push on for Europe. And then after that, the floodgates opened. It was all one-way traffic, and Burnley were in for a long afternoon. Sean Longstaff doubled the lead. Great to see him back on the score sheet. Hopefully that'll silence a few doubters and his critics, as he's been made a scapegoat more often than not this season. Great to see him get on the score sheet. And Bruno, Bruno's Bruno. He made it 3-0 before the break. What was interesting as well, we matched them. It was a change of system today. We went 4-4-2, the good old English centre, 4-4-2. To match up with Burnley. Kind of like how we did to match up with Spurs a few weeks back, and it's worked again for Eddie Howe. Really effective once we got over that first hump. And like I say, when we got that first goal, the floodgates opened and away we went, basically. The big pre-team news was really about who was on the bench, not about who was on the pitch. Obviously, the headline on the pitch was that Wilson and Isak were starting together. But the big news was that Joe Linton was back, Almiron was back, and Nick Pope was back. Joe Linton and Almiron came on in the second half. No such luck for Nick Pope, of course. Dubravka played the full 90 as you would expect him to do. But yeah, Body's coming back from injuries. Obviously, Cher looks like he's going to miss out now. Kraft did okay with Burn at centre-back. I thought Hall and Livramento were very, very good as well at left-back and right-back. I thought they were really effective today. Gordon on the left-hand side was cutting inside, doing what Gordon does, and working really hard and was really effective. Murphy stayed wide, which is good, which is what he needed to do. And put in a few testing balls. Got a couple of assists for him as well this afternoon. So that was a really good afternoon's work for Jacob Murphy as well, who has frustrated me in the past few weeks as well, but solid performance from him today. The fourth goal came from Alexander Isak, his 20th in the Premier League this season, and that came after he did the unthinkable and missed a penalty. Who'd have thought it? But you'd rather him miss a penalty on a day like today as opposed to when it really, really matters and the crunch was on. But yeah, he made up for it for not a minute later. and put the game to bed with a fourth. Disappointing to concede a consolation in the end, but that's not a big deal. We go on. We roll on to the final home game next week at home to Brighton. Lee and Johnny are there at Turf Moor this afternoon, so I can't wait to see Lee's vlog. That's bound to be a great one in the away end this afternoon. And of course, the last word's coming up later on this evening and into the small hours. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. Hit that like button for another Newcastle United win. Stay tuned to Newcastle Fans TV.